and welcome to The Honest Piece by Mad Gorilla. I'm Dan, your host. I want to talk about one of my greatest weaknesses. It's procrastination, and it's probably the biggest killer of progress in anything that you do. Okay? So, my wife and I were having a conversation the other day, and she said to me, when it comes to your physical and mental health, you cannot give yourself grace when you are in a life or death situation. And it makes a lot of sense. We tend to ball up and bottle it up and shove our feelings down as deep as we can because, we don't want to feel like less than a man or less than anything. The idea is that we have ourselves put together and that we are in control and that we are not weak. And I'd like to point something out to you. Right now, neither one of us are procrastinating. And I'll tell you why. It's simply because, one, I am sitting behind this camera with this microphone in front of me in my wife's she shed that I built her. And I'm talking to you. And you are listening to what I have to say. So, right now, you are already well on your way to improving your potential. Your potential to start feeling better. The potential of starting to take better care of yourself, okay? So, I'm going to dive into some personal stories that I'm going to share with you. Hopefully, it will resonate. I hope that you will be able to find some common ground or at least some common feeling within this, and that you will find some value in it for yourself as well, okay? So, a few years back, I went on a vacation to Kansas. I took my two youngest boys. They are now 17 and 18, but of course, this was a few years ago. Now, they have not been around my family, and the majority of my family is back home in Kansas, okay? So, getting to know my brothers, my other kids that I have, it was an opportunity for, one, us as boys, to be able to bond, and then as well be able to really just connect with my family back home because we've been out here for since 2006, 18, 19 years longer. It's been a while. So anyway, Ryan was born about a month before we left Kansas and moved to Georgia, Southeast Georgia. And then, of course, we were not expecting to have another child, but we were blessed with Tyler. And that's my youngest one. So we go to Kansas. We're having a great time. I'm in the hotel. Boys are swimming with my grandson, cousins, nieces, nephews, all coming to hang out with Uncle Dan, and they were off swimming, and I was waiting on some towels or whatever to be able to send them to the pool, because that's what they want to do, not send them get them out of my hair, although it, when you have a bunch of kids around, sometimes it's just going crazy. But anyway, I love them to death. Anyway, I was waiting on some towels, got some towels, gave it to the boys. They head off to the pool. Now, I intend to go out there and, hang out with them a little bit, but, I'm just going to kind of chill out, gather my bearings, figure out what I'm going to do. And all of a sudden, I become extremely dizzy. Like, my head is a Harlem Globetrotter basketball spinning on a finger. And I don't really remember much about that except that I was really nauseous. I was sweating profusely. And I felt like I really wanted to get really, really sick. No pain whatsoever. And so I say, I start splashing some water in my face in the sink, and I don't know what came over me. I don't think it was something I ate. I don't know what happened. So I decide I'm going to jump in the shower. Now, mind you, everything's still spinning. My equilibrium's off. I can barely stand up. And I take my clothes off. I turn the shower on and I jump in. And as I'm moving, it just seems to be getting worse. And I can't understand what's going on. So I'm trying to just relax, close my eyes, calm, myself down. I don't know what's going on. And it just seems to just get worse. And I stand up and I feel like I'm about to pass out. So I throw my sweats on really quick. I I dry myself off. I throw my sweats on, and I just go again back to just sweating profusely. And what I remember was I come out of the bathroom. I um I think I spit some blood in the sink, and then I'm falling and I'm crashing into our luggage and the luggage table where the suitcase is sitting, and I'm falling on the bed, the boys' bed that they're on, and I'm trying to make my way over to the hotel room phone and call my daughter who's at the front desk. I'm staying at the hotel that she's working at, and I'm trying to make my way over to the phone, and I finally get it picked up, but now I'm laid out. My body's half off the bed, and my upper torso and that is on the bed, and I am unable to hold the phone, but I'm able to hit zero. I can kind of get some of my bearings, and I call to the front desk, and I feel like I'm talking coherently and without issue, and I'm telling my daughter, I need an ambulance right now. Call 911. And if you guys know anything about me, some of you do because you're listening, but I am one of these people that I play too many pranks. I'm always joking around. I'm always just. Sometimes I'm the boy that cries wolf, I guess, and my daughter took it that way. However, what threw her off was the fact that she couldn't understand what I was saying. I thought I was talking clear. I think I met her out again. I need an ambulance or something, and then finally she understood. I guess you'd have to ask her. I don't know, and don't even quite remember really, but she must have thrown the phone down. Comes to my room, open it up, and I hear her scream, and she's like, "Dad, Dad!" And then I think somebody else came in the room. I and my daughter's freaking out. I am just. I think I'm talking, but again, you can't understand what I'm saying. Is what my daughter said. So the ambulance gets there, and of course they hit me with something that calms the nausea or something, and then as well as the dizziness. Being I was just in this whirlwind of just spinning. Throw me on the gurney, haul me out. My boys are standing outside the door. My grandson's standing out there, and my son Tyler. I think I hear him crying or something, but I don't really remember. Get in the ambulance. I'm telling them I'm spinning and my head's just kind of doing this, as I'm sitting there. My head is just rotating, and they get me to the hospital and find out I've had a stroke. Yeah. Here I am, you know, I've had four back surgeries. I hurt my back when I was 21. I've had four surgeries. I've now had neck surgery. Um, I'm overweight. I need to lose weight. I used to wrestle when I was little, and I'm just stocky. And some people like, "Hey, what do you do when you work out?" I'm like, I don't work out. They're like, how are you so stocky? It's just, I rode bikes with my best friend Marty for a long time, and was very active as a kid. And so anyway, I'm at the hospital, and my everybody's freaking out. I don't know what to. The doctors, nurses, staff, they're working on me. I'm I'm just out of it. I don't know what's up, but I they finally get everything under control. I'm good. There are no lingering issues. I have the only thing, if anything, I think maybe it affected maybe some of my memory, but uh, if it is, it's very little because I'm fully functional. There are no issues from that. Everything came back good. But the hardest thing was getting when the family at home called my wife. You know, that was probably the hardest part because when I finally got to talk to my wife and she's on the phone with me and she is uh, hell, man, I don't even know if I got to talk to my wife on the phone. I think I did. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. Um, no, maybe she did. And I got to talk to her, but she was crying because she couldn't get the flight out immediately, and she was gonna have to wait till like I think it was like 4 o'clock the next day. I think to fly out. I think that's why I remember us having a conversation. And she was freaking out because she got the call that I had a stroke and I'm in the hospital back home in Kansas where I'm from, and my wife was on halfway on the other side of the country. You know, and so the hardest part was this was during it was just right after COVID, and they had everything on lockdown. And my son Tyler, I found out, was freaking out, crying because he couldn't see his dad, and he just wanted to know that I was okay because I think all he thought was that I was dead. My son Ryan, cool as a cucumber, you know, and they finally get to come in and see me. My brother Curtis comes in, I think, to see me, um, and he's there. I think one of my other brothers came in. I don't remember if it was Jamie, um, but anyway, my wife shows up, and when she walks in the door, she just loses it, you know. Um, and my wife is the type of person that holds her feelings in. She is not. She's a very private person. Me, I haven't met a stranger. You know, I talk to people, and you'd think, uh, just like my doctor said when I found a new physician, and I know I'm kind of going all over the place. Just bear with me. That when I tell my doctor I'm depressed, he says you don't even look or act like that. And so I begin to explain to him my journey. And he is in shock himself. He's just like, I don't know what to say, really, except that you don't carry yourself in that manner. And who's to say how you should or how you shouldn't carry that, right? But when my wife walked into my room, she dropped everything and just grabbed me and started bawling. I never heard my wife cry like that before. Just bawling. And was just glad that I was okay, really concerned. So I'm in there for a couple of few days. I don't remember how long it was, but um, get cleared, checked out of the hospital, finished my vacation, and my wife didn't want me driving, so she was driving my truck. I was supposed to be going to Texas right after that trip to pick up a new piece of equipment to take back home, and thought we were going to have to cancel that trip. And I said, no, I'm not canceling that trip. I'm going to get this thing. We're doing this. I'm going to be okay. So Go to Texas, pick the piece of equipment up, head home. Boom. Everything's good. Finished the vacation out great. Had fun. Good time. Fast forward a year later. I'm sitting here at home. I'm by myself. And I start feeling my heart is going to literally pound through my skin. I can tell that I'm starting to feel nauseous. I can tell that I am starting to sweat. So at this point, I realize that I think I'm going to have another stroke. And I call my wife, and I don't remember if I got her on the phone or not. I just said I'm driving to the EMT station, or I'm going to drive myself to the hospital. And I think she might have been saying call an ambulance or something. She was literally stuck at work. Like the job that my wife has, it's just not that easy to do that, where you can leave immediately. And then I call one of my best friends and tell him that I believe I'm having a stroke. And he and his wife leave church, and they're wanting to come get me and take me to the hospital. And I'm like, look, I'm driving to the EMT station right now. It's just right down the road from my house. I'll get there, and then I'll just leave my Jeep, and I'll just climb in the ambulance. It's the quickest way for me to get somewhere quickly. And I get to the EMT station. I knock on the door. The paramedic answers. He's in his pajamas. You can tell he's been sleeping. The lady that's with him is also getting up. And he says, can I help you? And I said, I believe I'm having a stroke. And he's like, okay, all right, let's get you over to the ambulance right away. What makes you think you're having a stroke? Starts answering, asking me questions, and I'm giving him the answers. Now, we sit down in the ambulance, and he's sitting in front of me, and he's hooking me up to monitors, getting the cuff on. My blood pressure is through the fucking roof. Again. And he says, are you on blood pressure medication? And I said, yes, but I did not take it this morning. It's early in the morning. I'm sitting right in front of you. I woke up. I was not feeling well. And so I just hadn't taken my medicine. And he goes, and he stops for a second, and he goes, do you love your wife? And I said, yeah. And he goes, do you want her to be alone? And I was like, of course not. He goes, well, then take the damn medicine. What are you doing? You have kids? Yes. Take the damn medicine. And to be honest, I haven't been taking it on a regular basis. I make out like I'm running late for work or something that I'm doing in the morning. I just walk right by the medicine cabinet to pull it out and take my pill. And I run out the door. And I go about my thing. But my job is high stress. I deal with negativity constantly, be it customers, employee issues, equipment issues, it's just a very stressful job that I have. And so I'm constantly dealing with stress. And so the ambulance is like, look, we'll take you to the hospital. I said, no, Robert had just showed up, my best buddy, and his wife showed up to pick me up and are going to take me to the hospital. I feel okay. I'm still just in that early phase. I'm not even dizzy yet. I'm just feel sick. My blood pressure's through the roof. I can tell that something's happening. Rush me to the hospital. We get there. They get in. I'm at the front desk, and they say, what's wrong? And I said, I think I'm having a stroke. This is the craziest thing ever. I have never, in the history of my entire life, have ever walked into an emergency room and there is not a single soul there. Ever. It's usually packed to the hills. Everybody takes, I mean, if they got a hangnail, they're sitting in the emergency room. That's just how I think people view emergency rooms. They just go for everything. But I walk in and there is not a single soul there. They immediately rush me back. They're starting to hook things up to me. My blood pressure again, it's still through the roof. They start doing what I really don't even really remember anymore. But I do remember once they got me situated that I was up in IMCU for 3 days. And while I was up there on day, I think it was day 2 or day 3, I think. It was day 2. And I'm sitting there, and my nurse comes in, and she's taking my blood pressure, checking on everything, making sure everything's good. Now, mind you, again, nothing has happened. There is no, all my scans come back great. They do not detect any blood clots. Everything looks great. It's just absolutely bananas that I don't have a drooping face. I don't have lack of use in my extremities. Just absolutely bizarre. But my blood pressure is through the roof still. So the nurse, the docs get it, medicine, get it in, and let's try to get this thing under control. And at one point, she comes in and checks my vitals, and thinks that I don't know. I don't want to. Please don't think of this lady as bad. She's a nurse. She's doing the job, and I'm not upset with her either. When I say this, I wasn't upset with her. But she gives me something, and I'm sitting up with my legs over the side of the bed, and all of a sudden, everything just starts going foggy. I said, I don't feel right. I feel like I am going to, like I can't move or breathe or anything. I felt completely weird. And she's like, oh my God. She freaks out. I fall back in the bed. I see some people run in the room. And this guy, all I see is his face, and he's got my legs, and he's holding me up, almost upside down in the bed. They're freaking out. I have no idea what's going on. I just know that I don't feel any pain. I just feel like I'm going to go to sleep. That's like I'm going to sleep. Now, I've been hypnotized a couple times in my life at a couple of comedy shows, and if you don't believe in that hypnotism, I can tell you that it is like a foggy brain feeling, and I did not have any control over that. It wasn't an act. I wasn't involved. I did not know that it was, one of them was Jay Medicine Hat, and it was another guy at this club that we went to, and I was hypnotized both times. Hilarious as hell, by the way. Funny ass skit. But anyway, back to the story. It feels like that. I don't know how to explain it. It was just foggy, and I felt like I needed to just go to sleep. Like, there was no pain. Finally, it was like, ugh, and felt this breath come out, and I don't know how long it took, 30 minutes, an hour, I don't know. But I'm back, and I'm like, hey, what happened? What was going on? And I never saw that nurse again during my stay. But apparently, she had given me something that had dropped my heart rate and my blood pressure so low that I think my pulse was, I don't know, it was 20 or 30 beats a minute or something. It was insane, if I remember correctly. But she had given me some to slow or drop my blood pressure, and it almost killed me. I didn't know that. But then when I was told what was going on, that's what they thought happened. And it was a mistake. And I'm not upset. I'm not mad at that young lady. I don't know what happened. I don't know about any of it. My point is this, in telling you those stories, that this is about mind, body, and soul. The physical, the mental, and the spiritual. Okay? You've got to be fair to yourself. Again, you can't give yourself grace when you're in a life or death situation. But you've got to get therapy. You've got to hire someone, a professional or a personal trainer, be it if that you feel that maybe it's there's other things that are causing either health issues or your physical issues, mental issues, whatever that is. Okay, find someone. Okay. I'd asked my wife to pick me up this book. It's called the Growth Guided Journal, Pulse of Potential. And the reason I wanted to do this is because in this book, it asks you different things, and you answer them. You follow your progress, and you try to help your mental health. You try to right yourself. And I like this because, again, one of the things that my wife had said was that she was proud of me because I am making progress. I think that if I sat some key people in this room with me, that they would say the same thing, that I've changed quite a bit. I've been working on my anger and my rage. I have been working on the way I approach situations. And one of the things that I'd said to you before is that your first thought is for entertainment purposes only. This is about affirmation. This is about your blessings. This is about meditation. This is about finding abundance or calling abundance to you. Talking to a therapist, or just even sitting here and listening to me, or finding other avenues from other YouTubers or podcasters or influencers or whatever it is, even if it's just scrolling through your phone, like through Facebook Reels or TikTok or whatever, when you're looking at these different quotes and stuff that people have, it's things like that. But this does not make you less of a man. Please understand that, okay? You are a human being. You are on this earth and feel exactly the same way that every other human being, whether it be a different color in skin, whether they be a different gender, whatever it is, and I'll say it again, we all feel the exact same emotions. We don't go through the same situations because our instances are different. The variables in the situation are different, but we still feel the exact same emotions, okay? And this is something that I'd like you to remember because I said it to my wife, and I think it has value. Women find men more desirable and are attracted to men when they can handle all aspects of their lives. And the reason being is because they're looking for a partner, not a liability. I think Will Smith said one point that I cannot be responsible for my wife's happiness, nor can she be responsible for mine. I have to find my happiness myself, okay? One of my friends says, hey, I'm a full-time job, I can't take care of you, okay? And if I can't take care of myself, I can't be there for you. And you are going to have to get this through your thick skull that in order for you to have healthy relationships, to be able to communicate properly, to do all of these different things that you need to function, you're going to have to start taking better care of yourself, okay? Please, don't mistake this as pressure. I think a lot of people find that they mistake support as pressure. And that's just not the case, okay? I found myself self-sabotaging, procrastinating, and not interested and making excuses for everything that I was doing, okay? So, I'm going to ask you out there, are you doing the same thing? Are you? Are you finding the reasons why you can't instead of saying that I can or I will at least try? It's something. It's something as simple as saying I just want to order a book and just start writing things down. Even if it's not a book, it doesn't have to be something that you buy off Amazon or off Facebook or wherever you do your shopping. It's finding a notepad that I write notes down on all the time. I'm constantly looking for different ways and different things to talk about. I'm always writing down sayings, people, things that interest me, and things that make an impact. And you probably do the same thing because you probably save it on your phone to go back and look at it later when you're laying in bed at night and trying to get to sleep, but you can't because the squirrels in your head are going fucking bananas, right? So ask yourself, and this is something I saw the other day too that I thought was interesting. And it was a young man on a reel, and the girl says, what was the flip of a switch moment that changed your life or perspective? And the young man said, I was in with my therapist for the first time. She said, what is it that, tell me about you. And he said, well, I think I'm a good father. I think I'm a good employee. I think I'm a good husband. And the therapist says, well, that's good, but let me help you understand something. To be a good employee, that's for your job. To be a good father, that is for your kids. To be a good husband, that is for your wife. But what do you do for you? And I was floored. The young man said in the reel that made a lot of sense and really hit home for him. And I hope that you find it. I obviously have to be careful on these things because, I don't want to be infringing on anyone's copyright or anything like that. But these are what I look for all the time. I'm constantly looking for things to help me get past the fucking demons in my head, okay? The trauma that I've suffered, the idea that I can be better. I don't have to be defined by my past, okay? And neither do you. I had said earlier in the conversation that procrastination is the killer of progress. It increases overwhelmedness. It increases anxiety, depression, and resentment from others, okay? But it also reduces your results, your performance, your chance of promotion, your worthiness, and your focus as well, among others, okay? So when you start to pick up a pencil or a pen and you start writing down on a piece of paper how you feel, how you think, just talk to yourself, okay? It's okay. No one's going to think you're fucking crazy. Just talk to yourself. Write it down on paper, okay? I find that it is very beneficial for myself. I think you'll find the same thing happening for you, okay? It's a start. At this point, you're not procrastinating anymore on your mental health, okay? Procrastination is a mechanism used to mitigate commitment or self-discipline. And self-discipline requires the exact opposite of procrastination. And when you start becoming the better you, when you start taking charge and not letting your brain control what's going on, when you start overcoming that and you start practicing being virtuous and you start giving yourself the opportunity to explore a little bit, and that's what I'm doing right now, you're going to find that it increases your accountability. You're going to be more honest, not only with yourself, but with others. You're going to admit when you're wrong. You're going to be okay doing it and saying that it is okay because we're not perfect human beings, right? And we're not striving to be perfect. We are striving to progress, okay? It's going to increase your reliability. It's going to increase your self-worth and your productivity. As well, it's going to reduce anxiety, depression, the needs of others. And I'm not saying stop writing in your journal. I'm not saying stop seeing your therapist. I'm not saying stop going to the gym. I'm not saying any of that shit, okay? So let's get that straight. What I'm saying is that when you have self-discipline, you will find yourself doing these things on a regular basis that won't require other people to interject, or interfere is not necessarily the right word that I'm looking for, but what you will find is you will find less reliance on other people when you start practicing and doing these things yourself, okay? As well, it's also going to reduce your medications and your doctor's visits, and that's the damn truth, okay? Right now, I am starting to learn to eat better. I am more focused on taking my blood pressure on a daily basis and getting feedback. I am working closely with my doctor to improve my health, as well as losing weight. And so you need to understand that your opportunity is based on your willingness to pursue whatever it is that you were looking for, okay? There was a story told by Eric Thomas, and I'd like you to look it up on YouTube, okay? Eric is the hip-hop preacher, and I love it. I love watching some of his motivational stuff. I like watching Ray Lewis when he's doing that, and I'm not even a big sports fan at all. I'm not. I'm just moved by people. Matthew McConaughey has had some really great speeches out there. There's people that have great wisdom. You can find it in many people, and sometimes you may think they may be dumb as a box of rocks, or maybe you don't agree with their views or whatever, but everybody has something valuable to share, okay? And I'm asking you to open up and be willing to accept that there's another perspective. I'm asking you to accept that there is something you can learn in anything that you do. And sometimes it's going to be from someone that's older, or it's going to be someone that's younger, or even the opposite sex altogether, okay? I'm challenging you to open up your mind. Remember, we talked about this before. It's being honest, open-minded, and willing. Those are the key things that are going to get you started on your journey to getting better. But Eric Thomas talks about this rich man, this young man that was in awe of this very wealthy older man. And I really don't want to butcher the story up for you. I really want you to go look at it. It's called How Bad Do You Want It? And it's by Eric the Hip Hop Preacher, Eric Thomas. I think you're going to find that it's going to hit home for you, because it did for me, all right? But think about what I just said. How bad do you want it? You're going to want it as bad as your next breath, if you really want it. Procrastination, that's where you're going to have to destroy that. You've got to start somewhere, okay? If it was easy, everybody would be fucking doing it, right? But it's not. That's why it's called work, and it requires consistent work. In order to be and stay healthy, you have to be consistent. I've often found myself saying, he's lucky or she's lucky or whatever, and it has nothing to do with luck and everything to do with how you want to get to wherever you want to be, or to get whatever it is you desire to have. It doesn't have to be material. It can be anything that you want, okay? It can be something physical. It can be something mental. But you got to start with something, okay? And success is just many failures until you get it right. Let me repeat that. Success is just many failures until at one point you got it right. It isn't consistent if you are stopping and redirecting your energy somewhere else, or finding a reason that you can't get it done, okay? You have to continue because life is going to leave you behind. When we stop moving forward, I used to think this a long time ago. Let's just say you're walking, and as you are walking, time is right beside you, okay? And it's walking right along with you, all right? If at any point you stop, let's say you procrastinate, okay? If at any point you stop, time continues. It increases the gap between you and time itself when you stop. And that's what I used to think. Until I had a conversation with someone who's very wise. And we share a lot of personal things together. And I find a lot of value in the things that he says. And he says, I used to think the same thing. He goes, but I realized you're really going backwards. You can never really stop because you then lose progress. Everything that you've worked for has now adapted and changed and evolved and gone into something different. And the minute that you stop moving forward, you are losing ground. So you are technically going backwards. Time is continuing to move forward, and then you've just stopped progressing. So now you're going backwards. Okay? So think long and hard about that. Procrastination. Is it really worth it? Because we've got limited time on this earth. And I'm sorry if I went to a dark place there, but think about that. Do you really want this to be what you are? Do you really want this to be the thing that you left behind? If I was a betting man, and I'm not, but if I was, I would bet that your answer is no, that you want to be better, that you want to do better. And I would bet that you find that the other people out there that really care and love about and that really love you and care about you would say the same thing to other strangers. They would say the same thing to the same people that you are talking to. They would jump over mountains. They would it's hard to fathom what a person wouldn't do for someone they love. And here's the thing. I've said many times that I would do anything for them. But here I am being a fucking hypocrite saying to myself, I'm not worthy. I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna lose weight, or I'm going to take my medication or whatever. And yet I'm saying when I procrastinate, I'm not doing what I said I would do. That just makes a lot of sense to me. And it's why I'm on my path of recovery. I'm on my path of trying to figure this fucking thing out. And maybe it isn't because there isn't anything to figure out. I guess what I'm saying is I'm trying to figure me out. I'm trying to figure out where I fit in this puzzle, and I'm already in one of the greatest experiences of my life. I have a wife that is absolutely wonderful to me. My kids love and support me, and I have to ask myself, what am I doing? And some of you out there may not have what I have, and that's okay. Okay? But you have people. You didn't just come from nothing. There are people out there. And at some point, you're going to have to put away. You're going to have to put some of that to bed. Okay? You're going to have to deal with some of it. You're going to have to move past it. You're going to have to face it. Okay? It's important. It's important for your path. It's important for your journey. It is important for your physical health. It's important for your mental health. Okay? You're going to have to put some things to bed. It doesn't mean that you have to forget about them. Okay? Remember we had the conversation about the rearview mirror and why the windshield is so big. All right? You can always remember where you come from. You don't have to stay there. You don't have to dwell there. But you do need to be looking at what's coming, because there's great things coming for you. There are great things out there for you, just waiting for you to fucking snap out of it and start progressing, okay? If you don't take care of your body is going to tell you when you need to. If you're not taking care of yourself mentally, your brain is going to tell you, okay? And I hope it catches you before it's too late. Because there are a lot of us out here that are feeling the exact same way, okay? I was just told tonight that I have someone else that loves what I'm doing, is a true fan, and I am stoked, okay? It's one more person, okay? It's one more person for me. It's one more person that can understand where I'm coming from. It's another person that can relate to what I'm saying and what I'm doing. Another person that finds value in it. And I'm feeling better about it, okay? And by you trusting me and sitting here and listening to me, you're already well on your way, my friend. You're already well on your way. And I'm happy to be doing this with you. Okay? You've got somebody here. If there's any comments that you want to make, anything that you want to say, please write it down. Send me a comment. Send me an email. I'm looking forward to it. I'm atagorilla@gmail.com. You can send me a comment in the podcast, on YouTube. I'm all over the place. Please like, subscribe. Let's help get this off the ground, okay? Together. Not for me. Let's do it for us. Let's do it for the men out there that need to hear these exact same thing, okay? Because there's a lot of us out there. I'm just a regular guy. I'm not rich by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just a guy that's sitting in front of a little microphone that my wife got me, along with a little camera, and I borrowed her she shed for an hour or so to try to put something down and get it out there to talk to you as well, so I can get out of my head. And this is my therapy. As a matter of fact, I have my therapy session tomorrow with my therapist, and I'm going to tell him about how this is going. And I'm super stoked about it. I'm happy. My heart is full. I'm starting to feel myself coming out of the clouds, because I never thought that this was going to be what this is becoming. I never thought that I was going to start feeling better, and I just feel better. So, thank you for joining me. Again, I hope you find value. I hope it resonates somehow. Please go find something. Write it down in a journal. Find something. Keep going. Share stuff with me too, because I need it as well. I'm just sharing with you because I feel it's important to do that. I think it's a crime to not share knowledge. And I feel that together, guys, we're going to do great things, okay? So, thank you for tuning in. Again, find the inner peace before releasing the inner beast. This is The Honest Peace by Mad Gorilla. I'm Dan, your host, and I'm signing off. Y'all have a great night. Talk to you later.